Professor Wergeles here. We are on lecture number 30. We are moving on to the next example. Make sure you upload your code to the server. We're on number 4, data retrieval number 4. So let's open up this directory. We're going to be viewing index.html. So let's open this up. I'm going to show you how we can send different people different advertisements and how easy that becomes based off of this prototype approach. Now, what you're going to see here is we have our application, and this has Professor Wergeles and the age of that person, 22. I'm going to call app start. So here's the application class. I've added name and age in this case, so I have two properties, and those are going to be passed in based off the constructor. So when I call new application, I'm creating an instance of the application class, and on the right here is going to be the constructor, which is down here, that passes name and age. Then I call the start method. So the start method is a function here that's going to create a new advertisement, and the message of the advertisement is going to be passed as a parameter. So when I scroll down, advertisement has a parameter now and has the property advertise. Okay, so the advertisement is going to be passed as a parameter. And then I'm going to call the retrieve method. So you'll see here I'm calling start. Start creates a new instance of advertisement, passes the message as a parameter, and calls the retrieve method. If I scroll down, here's the retrieve method. Remember, we needed to pass the application context. So I'm passing the method that's going to get executed once the GET request is successful, as well as the application context, which is what we saw in the previous example. So here's the onSuccess and the context. I'm enclosing that in a function, which we saw earlier. The onSuccess function is being called. It's being executed, passing the application context. The onSuccess method is being called. It's being executed. It's passing the application context as well as the data from the GET request. Now, this GET request is a little bit different. I'm still going to info.php, but I'm passing the message as well as calling the do onSuccess method. So let's open up info.php and let's see what's changed on the server-side PHP file. So I'm going to go to FileZilla, right-click info.php, do a view and edit. You'll see here I am looking in the get super global array for message. If message is empty, I'm going to default to an empty string. Otherwise, I'm going to get the message. Then I'm going to display the message as well as the date from the server, which has year, month, and day, as well as hours and minutes. And I'm going to print that back to the front end. Now, one thing you may want to do, especially on the server side, is you may want to set the time zone. So here, PHP has a function we can call. It's called date default time zone, and we're going to be setting it. And they have a bunch of time zones. If I go to the browser and I search PHP time zones, make sure you go to the PHP documentation, the API. You'll see they have a bunch of different countries. So we are in America. When I select America, they have Denver. They have New York. They have Los Angeles. And they also have Chicago. Okay, so we're going to be in Chicago time. So I'm going to do America, which is the group, / Chicago, which is the subgroup. Okay, so this will make sure that our message is displayed in the right time zone. And I'll show you what happens if you take that off. So I'm going to take the message, concatenate that with the word on, and concatenate that with the date from the server based off of the Chicago time zone. If I go back to index.html, you'll see that this data is passed to the onDataReceived method. OnDataReceived will print out the name, print out the data, and as well as print out the age. So it's going to be a custom message or a custom advertisement for each user. So I'm going to save this code. Make sure you upload it to the server. I'm going to go back to the browser. Click on back. Let's go into number 4, data retrieval number 4. You'll see, Professor Wergeles, you just won $1 million on this date, at this time, at age 22. Okay, so it's working successfully. Let's see what happens if we take that time zone off. Okay, we're going to take this time zone off. We're going to print out the message again, and then we're going to also create it for a new user. But we're going to do that in the next video. Stick with Professor Wergeles, and we'll see you in the next video.